guys, welcome back to another cinematic mic review. Today I'm reviewing Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever. Batman Forever stars Val Kilmer, Chris O'Donnell, Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. In the film, Batman goes up against two new foes, one known as Harvey Dent Two-Face, who's out to put an end to Batman, the other Edward Nygma, who wants funds for his new invention, which is to mess around with brainwaves of people, and he eventually becomes the villain known as the Riddler. I believe in what I was taught on making a film is that you want to get your audience hooked into the story or from the beginning. You want to try to get them really invested into what they're about to watch. And that can be the directing, that can be the writing, can be any probably cinematography too. But here, I think they really mess up at the beginning with the writing in the story. We open up with Batman getting ready to go out and fight crime, and his butler Alfred ends up asking him, "Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you?" And his response is, "I'll get drive-through." And I'm wondering, what does that have to do with anything that's going on? Is it just for something like comical, but it's not in any way funny at all? It just seems like something pointless. A little bit later, we get a scene where Two Face is causing trouble, and Batman is stuck with a security guard inside some kind of like tank, and there's acid that comes out, and the security guard ends up yelling, "It's boiling acid!" And I learned that you're not supposed to do like descriptive dialogue. Like you're not supposed to describe things. Your characters aren't supposed to be describing things. We as an audience should be able to know what that is. And so I think that the writing was bad at the beginning. I think it's still there's bad writing continuing on for a while. But I think the second half I was noticing I was paying attention to the writing again because of the beginning, and I think it kind of stabilized right there. It wasn't as bad as the opening, but still, I don't think you ever want to open up a film like that with this like cheesy dialogue. We end up getting a new director for this film, which is Joe Schumacher. Tim Burton has left from Batman and Batman Returns, and you see that director wants to put their own vision to this. But right here, you notice that they still kind of kept Burton's style to it, which is the tall buildings, the statues, the old like classic cars, kind of looking like whether it's in the 1930s or 40s. But with the one thing that Joel Schumacher does, I think, to put like his stamp on it, he ends up bringing these colors. He makes Gotham like a city of colors. There's like all these colors, neon lights, fluorescent lights, and he makes the city look. I said when I was watching it, this seems like something that should be titled Batman in Las Vegas. I didn't get the feeling from this Gotham that it's a place that wants or needs saving. It seems like it's a place that is already like that, and the citizens make it like that, and it seems like they're okay with it. And to me, I never got that vibe of it like being a place that wanted a Batman in it. The streets don't say anything in this film. That you don't see any like criminals that are like the way the first film where Bruce Wayne's, which was what led Bruce Wayne to turn into Batman. You don't got anything like Batman Returns where there was corruption from the higher ups. Tommy Lee Jones plays Harvey Dent Two-Face, and I have to say that he's not really intimidating in this film. There's nothing threatening about him in this film. And when the beginning of the film opens up with him causing trouble, and I didn't know the only thing I knew from the beginning is that he wants to kill the Batman. That's all I knew. But I never knew why he wanted to kill the Batman. Eventually, I ended up seeing a news clip on the film where it shows like his origin story of how he got disfigured. And I ended up saying, and I don't think it says this in the clip, or I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember it saying anything close to this, but I took it right there that okay, I guess I'm supposed to take it that he blames Batman for his disfigurement, and I'm like, but if he blames Batman for his disfigurement, is every citizen of Gotham gonna blame Batman for everything that the trouble that they had, and are they gonna end up turning to Batman villains? Jim Carrey plays Edward Nygma, the Riddler, and he's another one who's not intimidating, nothing threatening about him either. But I gotta say, Jim Carrey actually brings some like charisma to the Riddler, which kind of makes it fun, and I think that's just Jim Carrey's. It's because it's Jim Carrey, and it's kind of fun. It's fun to watch him play as the Riddler. The thing that bothered me with these villains was that they were Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones were playing these characters the same way. They were comical, and I was thinking maybe if there was like a contrast between them, it probably would have been a better film. If one stayed serious and one stayed funny, it would have probably been a better film. I do think they are psychos, which are what Batman villains are, psychos, because they end up in Arkham Asylum. That's why I think Arkham Asylum ended up existing. I mean, when you look at Edward Nigma throughout the whole him, like just wanting to make this invention and then taking out his boss and then just like screaming it all the time, and the way he talks about how he just wants to get revenge. I mean, you can tell that guy's like a lunatic, and he's gonna end up going into some place like he deserves to be in Arkham. I mean, Two Face already starts off being him. He's already crazy. Well, even before that, he went crazy. We don't see when he ended up becoming crazy. He's already crazy. But with Edward, we actually you can tell just by spending time with him, like, wow, this guy's really a lunatic. So I think that kind of goes with the Batman story of Batman villains actually being psychos. These villains aren't as interesting as the villains we got in Burton films, which was Joker, Catwoman, and Penguin. I was bothered by Batman and Nicole Kidman's character, Dr. Chase Meridian, because Dr. Chase already right away in the film she starts falling in love with Batman, and just like it seems like she really wants to get get down with him. And then we see a scene where Bruce Wayne meets Dr. Chase Meridian. He meets her as Bruce Wayne, and I was wondering whether he had already known her for a while. But that's actually their first meeting. Him as Bruce Wayne is the first time meeting her, and then right away she ends up agreeing to go on a date with him. But I didn't find anything of Bruce Wayne bringing that kind of playboyness to him, where it seems like he is a person that can get a girl to come with him on a date. I didn't feel that at all. And then later when they're together, she ends up he they bring up whether she wants to go on another date hiking, I think, with him, and she talks about how she met someone, and she's talking about Batman. She met Batman, and so she's talking about like, oh, I met someone, like I'm in love, we have something together. And this is still at the beginning of the film, and I'm thinking, isn't she a doctor? And I think that Dr. Chase Meridian actually needs a doctor herself, because I don't know what's going on with her. She's already like imagining that she's already with this guy when he barely met her. He doesn't even know her at all. Val Kilmer does a good job as Batman. I can picture him as a Batman. I think he does good with the voice. Uh, as Bruce Wayne, I was missing that whole Michael Keaton thing where Michael Keaton played this. He played it like really mysterious, like himself. Like he would keep to himself even when people were trying to get to know him. He still like played it off like really mysterious. But here it just seems like Bruce Wayne is kind of just a really serious guy here, like really like just like looking straight ahead, not to the side or anything, not caring for anyone. I mean, that's the vibe I got from it, from the way Val Kilmer was playing him as Bruce Wayne. What I did like in this film is actually that there's a balance between Batman and Bruce Wayne. I think they spend a lot of more time with Bruce Wayne in this film, and I forgot to mention that in my review for Batman or Batman Returns, because I noticed how most of the time I felt like in those movies, even though Michael Keaton still did good as Bruce Wayne, and I still think we got a Bruce Wayne story there, but I felt like uh, it was more Batman scenes than it was Bruce Wayne scenes. And here I think it was balanced out, or a little bit more Bruce Wayne in this one. So I thought that was good in this film. I think that Tim Burton brought something really like artistic to Batman with his films. In here, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything really artistic, nothing really creative. I think with Batman and Batman Returns, there's a lot of creativity with the model of like Gotham City, the way he created the production, like with the characters like Joker, Catwoman, the design of Catwoman's suit. It was just different, and a Penguin, and I think like I just don't feel like Batman Forever was really like a artistic, creative project. The film does have its issues, as I said, the things that bothered me, but there's still this thing where I kind of have some appreciation for it. But I'm not sure if it's just me being like biased, because I grew up on Batman Forever, like because it came out when I was a child, I was young, and it's one of the things that I like Batman, and this was the film that I remember. I can't remember Batman and Batman Returns because I was a baby when those came out. But when I was already getting to 7 or 8, I don't remember how old I was when that's when I saw Batman Forever, and it was my Batman. I grew up on it, and I enjoyed it. And I do think there are some seriousness in this film that I still dig, even though there's like a lot of like comical stuff, which kind of went to a whole different direction. But there's still some seriousness into it, which ends up making me appreciate the film still. It's not great, and it's not I guess totally bad for me. I guess it's a pass for me. And I do like the music score too in this film. That being said, I do have to say that Batman Forever is worth a watch. And if you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe.